Good evening, everybody. This is Jeremias, JMan Maneiro, and our program was so exciting earlier that we crashed the internet. Really, I'm super excited about this Cyber Monday because I want to get a computer so I could take my computer and smash it with a sledgehammer. Now, I don't know if that's too aggressive, but that's how I feel about computers that decide to restart in the middle of a live broadcast. And life gives you lemons. You make lemonade. So let's recap. If you missed us earlier, we were talking a little bit about our Real Estate Accelerator program, Bootcamp. During the break, during our commercial break, Joe was talking about, we had a little brainstorm. He was thinking next level Bootcamp. And I kind of like it. I kind of go with my instincts. Joe, do you love it too? I mean, you thought of it. Don't you love it?
Yes, because it takes agents to another level of their business. And I just think that this is something that every agent, every manager who doesn't want to train their agents is probably dying for. And we're going to be the ones to give them exactly what they want.
So let's recap for everybody, for those who weren't on earlier and missed our stimulating conversation about the program. We talked a little bit about our backgrounds, Joe and myself, and you can always catch the other video to catch that up. But we started with Unit 1, business planning, treating your business like a business, really the cornerstone of any successful real estate agent, I think. Joe, anything you want to add to what we talked about as far as business planning and goals?
No, I just feel that business planning is something of a level one, step one, that every new agent, every agent who's been in the business needs to form a business plan. How many times do we set our goals in motion on December 31st to find out that they fail by January 10th or 15th, right? But now we have a strong, concrete business plan that we can work and refer to as the year goes by and progresses, and we can constantly reference that business plan and see where our weak points are, where our strong points are, and go forward with our goals and ambitions for the new year.
So as far as goals are concerned, right? What's the acronym that you learned? I know I learned, I bet you it's the same one, but what do you remember in your lifetime that somebody taught you about goals?
That goals are visions, and the only way we can envision something is to work toward it and keep it as in the forefront of our minds, whether they are short-term goals, long-term goals. We have this blueprint for success, and goals are smart, right? Smart. and it's just a no-brainer. You know, you some people set aside a goal for smoking, for non-smoking, and they to that goal, right? Yeah. So
I have a goal to smoke today.
I want to be the person that gives that agent that blueprint for success. I'm dying. I'm bursting here.
So the acronym that I was looking for, SMART goals, is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. And that's a big part of the program. And there's actually, I think it's a free 6 weeks included with a goal tracking system. It's KDNA, Knowledge DNA, in which you can, your goals have to be written down. They have to be. It just can't be a pie in the sky that you say, you know what, I want to make $1 million next year. And how are you going to do it? Well, I'm going to play the lotto. No, that's not how it works, right? You have to write it down. And with this KDNA program, you actually can implement your goals, or you put them in there, you can track them, and you can continuously adjust it because it has to change. You can't just say, okay, I'm on track to make it, or, you know, this will tell you if you need to pick up the pace to reach your goals, or maybe you're ahead of the game. Without tracking it, you just never know, because it's like a ship in the ocean. If you don't continuously make adjustments, you'll never reach your destination. And that's the importance of tracking the goals. Would you agree, Joe?
I agree wholeheartedly with that statement. You know, let us be your compass is what I tell my agents. Let us be the compass to help you and steer that ship towards greatness, because that's what we are. We're providing them that beacon of hope, that lighthouse in the harbor. And you know, real estate is such a cloudy business when you don't have that compass, or when you don't have that roadmap for success. And here we have the product, we have the tool now that's going to bring that agent to a much higher level, hence Next Level Bootcamp.
The NLB, you heard it here first. The acronyms are what we're all about in real estate. Now with goals, it's not just, I mean, you have to be 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 years if you really want to be successful in writing your business plan, setting your goals. So let's get to Unit 2, the economic plan. Tell us about the economic plan, Mr. Sinnona.
So the economic plan is translating those contacts, those people that we come into constant contact, buyers, sellers. We have to translate that into closings. What does that mean exactly? Are we going to take this contact here and lose them? No, we're going to do a follow-up plan to make sure that we don't lose any client as we go forward. And I will teach that through a series of how we get people to sign contracts, such as buyer brokerage contracts. We want their loyalty. We want to make sure and ensure that they don't go anywhere else but to that agent. And we don't want to work with too many clients at the same time, because we don't want to create a system where we're having so many leads fall through the cracks. We want to make sure we work on those leads. This is part of your business plan as well, because you take a lead on and you follow it through, and it makes you look much more professional to that client, whether it's a seller or a buyer.
So another big part of the economic plan section of our boot camp is knowing how much each transaction is worth to you. So just for an example, I'm going to use a middle of the road number, since our average sale prices are a little bit different between upstate and downstate New York. But let's just say $200,000. A $200,000 sale equals $6,000 worth of gross commission income. $6,000 of gross, right? We know that in real estate, part of that has to go somewhere. It goes to the managing broker, whatever your split is. So then you take that 6,000 and you take the managing broker's split off the top. And then anything else that you have involved with that transaction, if it's a listing, you have your marketing expenses, your signage, all the advertising, whatever you do, so that you can come up with a realistic average sale. Once you have your average sale price, then you know what your average transaction is worth, and then you can work backwards unit one. So if I want to make $100,000 a year, or let's just say I'm going to say 120,000 because 6,000 is a round number. Let's say my net is 5,000 on each transaction. I need 20,000. I need 20 transactions a year, okay, to equal 100. And I'm a visual learner, so I'm going to put this up there if you could see that. 6,000, your net is 5,000 times the 20 to get the 100,000. This is how important the economic plan is, so that you know how many transactions you need to get to achieve your financial goals. Right, Joe? And we talked about this earlier too, that not all of our transactions lead to closings.
That's correct. Because and the time that you use, you're putting a lot of energy, a lot of time into trying to find that buyer the right home, or trying to sell the seller's home. An agent uses their own money to front that, and they want a good ROI, return on investment, so that they don't lose money. I've seen agents where they work a whole listing for 6 months to come out with zero. Sure, they get paid at the closing, but then when you factor in how much they made, it's what are they making, 30 cents a day? So this is a business that, if I was going to work at a 9-to-5 job and I get a paycheck, that is my paycheck, and I don't want any more deductions taken out of my paycheck. That's exactly what the agent is doing when they calculate their time and their effort into selling something, whether it's through buying or through selling. That's their time, and time is money. Money never sleeps.
Money never sleeps, but time is always running. Now, talking about the economic plan, I'm looking at my notes here. We're also going to talk about number of calls made, as far as your prospecting efforts are concerned. When you're a newer agent, you have a huge sphere, but you haven't been working that sphere, and you don't know where your business is coming from. And so you have to figure, okay, if I make 100 calls, let's say, regardless of how you're making your calls, whether it's to your sphere, whether you're calling for sale by owners, whether you're calling however else you might be, who you might be calling, that equals a certain number of appointments. And then out of those appointments will lead to a certain amount of business or potential business listings or buyer appointments. So it's crucial to either get better at this, which we're gonna do a lot of that, role playing, how to overcome objections. We've both been in the business long enough. There isn't an objection that we haven't heard yet. I would think until tomorrow, then I might hear one and go, oh, I haven't heard that one yet. But we're going to help you with that, because the better your ratio gets, then the less phone calls you have to make, and the more money you can make and be more efficient with your time. Anything you want to add to that, Joe?
No. I think I'm so excited. I want to hear about the next part of the Accelerator program, the next level of boot camp that we're going to be teaching to not just the first year level of agents that are out there, new agents. And even if you are an agent who's been in the business, I don't like the word seasoned because I think of chicken seasoning. I don't like the word veteran because I never got a benefit from, I won't get a long-term retirement benefit. So I want to say that the experienced agent out there, this program is to take you back like Rocky, back to the beginning, back to the gym, reinvent yourself. And for the new agent, this is going to be a turbocharge right into your career. And so the next level, the next unit, which is chapter 3, deals with customer relationship and management systems known as CRM, which is a database. And I believe it or not, Joe Sinnona, I'm going to confess that this year was the first year that I actually put a database of my clients together. You know where they were, JMan? They were here in my head.
I thought you were going to say a notepad.
I feel like the brain is crashing. And I said to myself, no, you know what? I'm going to knuckle down. I'm going to get a good CRM, and I'm going to use the database to communicate with my clients. And my clients get 2 pieces of mail from me now every month. And they are so informed as to what I'm doing, because I need that in a competitive world where there's 400 or 500 agents in my area alone. And we need to communicate better with our clients. I think if you communicate with your clients better, you will develop better relationships, and they'll get to know the human side of you, and they'll get to know and keep current on the market, right?
So just to add that, this is confession time. Joe and we're in the confessional here. Hail Mary.
Blasphemy. Anyway,
throughout my career, I was guilty of the same thing. I am from such a traditional sales background that I was always thinking like a hunter. I'm got to go out. I'm going to make the kill. The kill's the sale. And then I'm so happy with the kill. I take that. I bring it back to the family. I go out again, right? And I'm going hunting again. And really the best business that we can have are our current, our database. That if we mine our database, we work with better clients, not cold calling on people that are strangers to us who aren't familiar with us and how we run our business. But and I got to say, my wife, Christina, she is like the best at this. She really stays in touch with the clients. And in the last couple of years, I've, consciously focusing on working that database, working with the people that like us, know, and trust us already, rather than having to prove ourselves, right? Because like when you said about, building your business, book of business, it's literally a book of business, so that 30 years, 40 years from now, you want to retire, that's something that can be sold.
Yeah.
Right, Joe? I mean, anything you want to add?
And I'm also learning that it's not just this book of business that you have to have, but you have to create a secondary and even a third book of business, which is generational selling. Mother, grandmother, mother, daughter. You have to know each level and keep a tracking. And CRMs do keep tracking of people's birthdays, weddings, anniversaries, sale of people's property, anniversaries of when you sold them. You know, this is what's important to people, believe it or not. And if you remind them, or you know, or what do they say? If you care about,
wait.
Go ahead. Your famous saying.
People don't care how much you know until they know
how much you care. And you know, you always say that, and it resonates in my head. So I always think about my clients. I think about, you know, that moment, that wedding. I see it on Facebook, you know, when somebody gets married, or somebody, you know, God forbid, passes away, the family member. You know, it's not about real estate so much. You know, to me, I am involved in my community, as you know. So I see these people on a day-to-day basis. I want to get to know them, but more importantly, I want them to know who I am. And if I have a great database of clientele and I'm keeping in touch with them, they'll see that I have a human side, and I'm not just taking, you know, their business and just carrying off with it, which is not who I am. But
yeah, I for sure, and I can attest to that. And it's great, you know, being in the business. So many people think, you know, like we're all about the sale, and it's like we care so much. We have so much heart in this business, right? And like you said, like I first meet clients and their boyfriend and girlfriend, and then it's like you see them progress through their life.
Right,
like we're a part of their life. They get married, they buy another house. Oh, they're having children, and now they're, you know, they're married with 2 or 3 kids, whatever it is. So we're there for every stage of their life, and it's so much more than sales. Like we are a part of their family, I always feel like. And, you know, and for us, you know, and for you too, I think our core values is just loyalty and honesty. And really, I think building your business on that makes it sustainable, rather than, I think there may be some people who get started in any kind of sales industry who are like, I'm just going to make the sale. I don't care. I'm doing whatever it takes to make the sale. And that's that's short-sighted thinking. And I think we're going to help people do business the right way, right?
I'm transitioning into my third generation, almost my third generation of buyer from the same family, right? And I did not have a database to keep in touch with them, some form of contact management system. So Unit 3 deals with contact management systems, and I just can't wait to get started, because I want to make sure I impart that personal, I want to talk from a personal standpoint, how important it is to keep in touch with your clients and have that special something about your client that you better know, because you can't just take from a community. You have to give back to your community. And this is a way of giving back, is getting to know.
This may be a little bit of a trick question, Joe, but I know how you like trick questions. What would be the best CRM on the market?
I currently use Brian Buffini's CRM, and not to say that it is the best. I've seen other CRMs, and we can go over that in class. We can actually exchange some ideas. You have a CRM system that's different from mine. I've heard of top producer CRMs. There are inexpensive CRMs on the market today. I currently use Brian Buffini because he's got a different type of CRM, and he also has a Blitz program that actually generates the flyer for you, and all you have to do is just mail it.
So, yeah, that was a trick question. The answer I was looking for and was hoping you would say, but didn't, but it's okay, is the best CRM is the one that you're going to use.
Okay. Right? It was a trick question.
Yeah, I know. It was a trick question because there's so many options available. We're going to talk about each option that is available, not every single one, but the top 10 pros and cons. And then see, you have to go on and then you have to actually play with these and see, you know, whatever you're going to use, whatever you feel the most comfortable with, that's the one that's for you. We can't say like, I use this, you should use this. No, because everybody's different. Everybody's personality is different. And that actually brings us into our next unit, personality profiles.
So personality profiles is how do you communicate with your clientele? They're different personalities, and we're going to study them using the DISC method. And for those of you who don't know what the DISC personality profile is you deal with dominating clientele who are productive, who are competitive, who are aggressive, who are headstrong. And then there are those who influence, and those are talkative, enthusiastic, spontaneous, persuasive, and they call them influencing personalities. Then you deal with a steady personality, peaceful, loyal, good listener, dependable. That's me. And and that's you. Conscientious, systematic, detailed, organized, orderly. That's the conscientious. And so this stands for dominant, influencing, steady, and conscientious people. And we're going to study how to deal with those types of personalities, because there's certain personalities in real estate that don't mesh and they constantly butt heads. Maybe there's a plan for that as well. And that's the part I like, because I have always handled it very brilliantly by not dealing with personalities that were going to butt heads with me. But instead of giving that person away or letting them slip through your hands, you have a plan for that now.
Right. I mean, being able to identify the personality type of the person that you're working with is critical. And just to give you a relative story here, I was sitting down with a financial planner at one point in my life, and I'm a DI, which is a dominant influencing personality type. So I'm like, get to the point, get to the point, get to the point. If you couldn't tell that already, you don't need the class. No, you need the class. But he's sitting there and he's going through this lengthy presentation, and it's like flip chart, and there's a nice graph on the screen. And I'm like, finally, after fidgeting in my chair for 30 minutes, I was like, okay. At the end of this, I felt like Joe Pesci in Lethal Weapon. I was like, at the end of this, are you going to ask me to write a check? And he's like, yes. I'm like, okay, can I write it? Okay, because I like, know, and trust you, and I wouldn't be here if I didn't. And you don't have to go through this whole presentation, right? Because I'm like, get to the point kind of guy. However, my wife, who's very conscientious, she's systematic, detailed, organized. I was like, okay, I'm going to go to another appointment. She stayed and watched the entire presentation.
Right.
Because she likes the charts. She wants to know what our return on investment is going to be. All of those. So being able to identify that with your seller or buyer clients is critical, because if you're there and your client's a DI like me, and you're doing here's the history of my company, and you're doing your flip chart, and this person, you can't read them, and they're going, right? You're going to lose that client. So, and like Joe said, it's important that sometimes there's people that I'm just not a good fit with, and I can either refer them to, my wife, Christina, who's also in the business, or to somebody else in the office. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just whoever provides the best service for the client. You got to make it about the client, not about yourself.
So, just moving on, in the interest of time, then Unit 5, right, is the marketing plan. What kind of a plan are you going to have for yourself as far as marketing? And here we define, develop, we identify, and we explain how an agent markets themselves and brands themselves. This is what we both like, right, Jeremias?
Oh, you want me to talk now?
Yeah, why not? Oh, okay. I was your cue.
I'm sorry, I was busy typing.
You were just getting excited because there's part of this plan is video as well, right?
Absolutely. Okay. And you know what? That's an important note. In every single part of this program that we're going to be doing, I am a little bit of a techie, and I'm going to give you the technical side of all of this. Using technology to work for you to make you more efficient. Rather than the more traditional methods. There's definitely going to be a spin to that in every single one of these units. But I wanted to say before we start talking about the marketing plan, anybody who's watching, we're open to questions. Okay. We love questions. We want to make this as engaging as possible. I know we have some folks who are watching. So in the comments section below, just type your question. There is no question that will not be answered. We'd be happy to answer them for you.
Now, I just want to say something. Brian Lewis is watching us right now. And Brian is not even a first year agent. And Brian, this program is definitely for you. And if you're interested, we'll talk about plans and where we're going to be teaching them later. But Brian Lewis, I have to say, has been doing all the right things of trying to get into the business, and he's loving the business, and he's easing his way in. And I just feel that with this type of program, he could be turboing his business into the next level right away as he's getting into it fast. And I see Ben Thomas, he's also watching. And Benoit, that's his real name, Benoit. This program is for you and Brian Lewis. If you don't realize how you're going to make a plan for 2018, this is the Accelerator program. This is the next level boot camp. Myself and this gentleman right in front of you, Jeremias, JMan Maneiro, we're going to be teaching it here in the new year on Long Island in the state of New York. We're coming to you. We want every new agent to be out there in full force. How many agents are we thinking about, having in our classroom? Because I don't want like 90 to 100 people. We want a small, intimate group, right, J-Man?
Yeah, and that's a good point, Joe. This isn't going to be something where we're going to rent out this huge space and try to pack in as many people as we can, like sardines, and say, and try to sell you something later on. Not going to happen, okay? This is going to be 30, I would say probably 30 students max. So the first 30 students to register will get into the program. And don't get us wrong, we're going to hold other programs, but we feel in order to be as effective as possible, we have to keep the size small. And with two facilitators for the program, Joe and I are going to both be doing this. So there isn't a lot of programs out there where you're going to get, two really experienced people to help you along in your real estate career.
Wait a minute. We're national trainers, national speakers.
Right. I mean, guys, that's important, right? We don't want to toot our own horns, but toot toot. Okay, we do know what we're doing. We do have experience. I teach every designation program out there, just about, as well as, I'm on the NISAR faculty. Joe does pre-licensing at Hofstra. I mean, we don't need to talk about that.
Board of Realtors, I want to mention,
right? And also the Long Island Board of Realtors. And I also come down to Long Island all the time and do different programs for you guys. It's always the best crowd, I think, out there at LIBOR. But let's get into marketing. My favorite. Ben, I want you to ask a question in the next minute or so, because we want to take
you too, Brian.
To the next level. I love this, right? Ready?
Next level boot camp. I like it. Next level boot camp.
We want you to be.
I don't have any dolls over here, but I do have a saying, and it's right here behind me, and it says, the strength of the wolf is the pack, and the strength of the pack is the wolf. Do you want to be a wolf in 2018? Do you want to be the leader and not the follower? This is a program for you, the new agent watching us here today, or the agent who's been in the business 1 year, 2 years. I don't want a house to drop on your head like my friend Jeremias has just illustrated. I don't want you out of the business. I want you to be the business in 2018. I want you to take your career to the next level in real estate. And the next level is to go back to the gym and recreate yourself like Rocky. And if I had a Rocky doll, I'd be, but this is a program that you're going to get 2 dynamic speakers, 2 instructors that have great reputations here on Long Island and the state of New York. And we have come together, I want to say merge, but we have come together to help you become more professional. That's why we're doing this.
Well, let's get to the marketing section. Let's talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk, when creating your marketing plan, it's important to know who your consumer is, right? Because today's consumer is more informed than ever before. We used to be the controllers of information. They used to have to come to us as real estate agents and say, please, Mr. Real Estate Agent, tell us all the houses that are on the market. But now the times have changed, right? They're coming to us. They have the information. So you have to market to today's consumer way different, because it's more about being a trusted source than it is about being a salesperson. You know, I always think traditional salespeople is talk until they said, please let me sign the paperwork so you can be quiet. And now it's more about asking the right questions, seeing how you can help the client, right? Being an interested salesperson and saying, okay, you know, having the resources for them. They're going to say, okay, what kind of first-time homebuyer available? Well, here are the programs that are available. Oh, what's a rehab loan? How does that work with foreclosures? Well, here's how it works, and here's somebody that I can recommend to you, so that when they're ready to take action, they go to you and they see you as the expert in real estate. I mean, Joe, right. You're a great marketer, right? What else do you want to add?
I have, through your programs and your expert advice, I have branded myself as the community expert when it comes to social media, and we're going to be teaching that part in this chapter here, and how to brand yourself as a community expert, to brand yourself as a well-known real estate expert with a lot of the knowledge and the tools that you need to bring to the consumer. This next chapter in our boot camp will teach you how to be the social media expert and brand yourself to your business, because that's what you're doing. You created a business. How do you brand it on Facebook? How do you brand it on Instagram? How do you brand it on Snapchat? We will teach you all of that.
And we'll also teach you offline marketing. You know, there's online and there's offline, right? So online is what Joe's talking about, all the social media stuff. But you're going to leave here with some social media mastery, as well as, you know, being educated about how the buyers and sellers educate themselves these days. Because we know they don't go to the Encyclopedia Britannica. For those of you who grew up with an Encyclopedia Britannica, you know what I'm talking about. For those who might be younger than me, you have no clue. You read about it in a history book. But they don't go to the encyclopedia anymore. They go to their friend called Google. And they say, Google, what kind of first-time homebuyer programs are available? Google. And that's how they're doing a lot of their research. And you can curate content or create content so that you can be found online. That's the key. It's not about paying somebody. It's not about paying somebody to be, you know, on the first page of Google. It's about creating the content and finding your niche, right? And we always talk about that. Like, the biggest mistake people make in marketing themselves is they say, you know what? I specialized in New York State. That's a broad market. And like Joe's the perfect example about branding himself in Long Beach. You think Long Beach, you think Joe Sinnona, you know, because he doesn't say all of your Nassau County referrals. No, he's in his lane. Right, Joe?
When I think of Greece, New York, I think of my friend Jeremias, because he's branded himself as the real estate expert in Greece, New York. So there are certain brandings. Yes, we have a New York State license, but let's be real. We're not octopuses and we can't be everywhere. So I'm not going to dare try to sell a house in Rochester. I'll refer it over to my friend Jeremias. And he won't probably dare not come to Long Island or to teach Long Beach, to be in Long Beach to sell a house, so he'll refer it to me. The bottom line is, yes, there is offline marketing that we could do. There's also offline that we can do networking, and we can teach people how to engage. Les Brown says, engage in consistent action. You know, and that's something we all need to be doing right now, is to constantly do the things that will make us better agents. And this program is right spot on. And who better to teach it than two licensed real estate professionals who have branded themselves in every aspect of the business.
And I think, you know, that's a good point. Like, you want to learn from somebody who does it. Right? We walk the walk every day. The stuff that we talk about, that we're going to talk about in this boot camp, are real life scenarios. It's stuff that we do. So when somebody says, oh, that won't work, we could say, no. Here's the results. Here's how it works. And it can definitely work for you. So I think the biggest obstacle in a lot of people's way, it's up here. It's in their own mind. They have, their own challenges of why they can't do stuff. It brings me to a friend of mine I met one day, and he said to me, I don't want to do video. That I don't like how I sound. I think I talk funny. And we're not going to mention any names, but we'll call him
I
Joe.
don't like the way I look.
Right. Okay. I was hoping you'd bring it up. We're not going to mention any names, but we'll call him Joe Sinnona because that was his name. And once he got out of his head, right, and just started doing it, the success was like through the. And he's a very much a New Yorker to like, show me. Yeah, sure it works. Show me, JMan. And then once he started doing it, and he saw the results, and he's like, okay, maybe you're onto something here. Let's do this, And now he's. Forget it. I feel like
Tony Robbins has a book called The Power Within. But I think once I started to do video and I started to brand myself with video, I unleashed the power that was within me to do it. And I have to say, a year and a half later, I'm actually teaching video now, and at the beginner level, because I know that there are people out there that'll be like, no, I don't want to do that. And that was me. And whereas JMan teaches the expert level of video, and he's constantly looking for things to reinvent the agent, I'm looking to get those people that are still shy about doing video the way I was. I was a guy just like you. That commercial, that infomercial, and where the guy says, I was a loser, just like you. Now I'm a winner, just like me. Well, I was fearful of video, and now there's no stopping me. I like to do lots and lots of video because I know that not only is it something that I overcame, but it's something that's also branding me to my business, and it can do the same for you. And as far as the other piece of marketing is concerned, we're going to show how websites are very important and creating one's own website as well. We forgot to mention that part in this chapter. And then as a segue, I know that everyone's saying that they need more time to do things. And I know that in this book, in this boot camp, we're going to teach you time management. That's unit 6, and how to create more time for yourself so that when you're finished at the end of the day, you can take that aha moment, right? That aha moment and relax. It's called a vacation. So time management is unit 6. And I don't know if JMan, you want to add to that?
Yeah, time management. It's probably the most important thing in your business, right? I mean, it's not just managing your time, but focusing on the things that matter most. And I know for the millennials who might be watching, because I'm right on the cusp of millennial as well. For me, it's not about working as much as I can. I like to have a balance in my life so that I can spend time with my family. We can do things, recreational activities, because at the end of nobody, when they're 90 years old or however long you feel like you're going to live till, is sitting in their deathbed going, you know what? I wish I would have listed at least one more house, right? I mean, it's like, I wish I spent more time with my family. And time management is what it's all about. And I will teach you all the technology that there's so much technology in place to help you manage your time and to help you think of your business as a business, and your clients to think of your business as a business. And I always say, like, one of the mistakes I made when I first started was, people would say, oh, I have to see that house tomorrow at 6 p.m. And I would go, oh my gosh, okay, sure, I'll do it at 6 p.m. Meanwhile, I had something else that I wanted to do, but I thought, no, I have to take care of the business first. Now, if at 6 o'clock I have, my son's chorus concert, I go, yeah, 6 p.m. I have another appointment. Oh, you can't move it? No, I can't. Right. No, I can't. You don't tell the doctor, oh, that time doesn't work for me, doctor. Can you fit me in at this time because that's good for me? No, they say this is the time that I have available. So we're going to talk a lot about that, prioritizing your time and being able to, at the end of the day, take your lists of things to do and say, these are the top 10%, 20% of what I need to do today. The other 80%, what can I delegate to somebody? Or what can I put off till tomorrow? Because a lot of times when we're first getting started, we focus on the easy things. We're like, oh, you know what? I'm going to organize my desk. Oh, I'm going to have some coffee.
Right.
I'm going to the water cooler. Right? I mean, Joe, you're the same way as I am, right? It's like there's only so much time in the day. It's our most precious asset.
And we have that personal time versus the real estate time. And if you realize the total hours that you devote to your personal time, you'll find that you have very little time for personal and you devote more time to your real estate. There are people in this business that work 7 days a week and they have families and they don't get to spend that quality time with the family. That's something that I have always had a conflict with. That's something that I'm trying to work on. I'm constantly working on it, but I'm finding that I'm working on it finally, that I don't put it to the side. And for those of you, the time management is something that is needed in your business. This is the chapter for you. And you're going to find that you'll free up a lot of your time by delegating, by not wasting the time and procrastinating. Procrastination is talked about a lot in this chapter, and most of us do procrastinate, and we put it off until like we have the work piled up. I wish I could show you my desk. I had stacks and stacks of papers where you could barely see me 6 months ago. Actually, it was about 6 months ago, and there was paper just falling over my desk because I had no time, literally, and I kept just piling it off without touching it once. And it was just dripping like, I don't know, it's like a tower, and it was falling off my desk. And I finally said, enough is enough. And I just took the time to get rid of all my paperwork. And now I have a very cleaner desk where I can actually see the calendar in front of me. And, in fact, Jeremias was using me as his what do they call that? As his example in going paperless. And when I saw my desk up on the screen, I said, enough is enough. You're not using this guy anymore. So we're going to teach you time management and how to devote your time to your business, to your family, to yourself.
Let you guys excited.
I'm just excited. That's all.
But let's unit 7. How many more units do we have here? I think unit 7 is the last one, right?
Unit 7 and
unit 7 and 8. Actually, we'll breeze through these quickly. But we appreciate for those of you who are staying with us. Unit 7 is important. This is a conversation that Joe and I had 2 hours ago, probably. Because we call each other, and it's always good to have somebody that's a friend of yours who's in the who will understand, and just have them as like a sounding board, because there's pitfalls in this business, and if you can't handle the what might happen, the bad stuff that happens, it's going to crush you, and you'll be gone. Right? So Unit 7 is all about the potential pitfalls in real estate. The things to look for, because that's a big part of what we do. The value we bring to the transaction is, and I tell people that, like, this is why you pay me the big bucks, because I'm the glue that keeps the transaction together. I know that we might have a problem there. Let's make sure that we nip it in the bud before we go into contract, so that we don't have it fall through 30 days from now.
Or right? Preparing your buyer for an engineer's inspection, what to look out for without running away, simply because the engineer comes and stands from a point of ambiguity where he can't really say this is not working to its potential and it has a shelf life of 1 or 2 years. Well, he didn't say it was broken. He just said it has a shelf life. Right. And you have to make your customers or clients understand that doesn't mean he's, to walk away or to renegotiate the price like we do downstate. You know, the owner's already negotiated the price. Why are we renegotiating the negotiation? And by the time we're done, all we've done is piss off the seller. I'm sorry, make the seller more mad at us. And we're beating the seller down, and the buyer thinks he's getting a deal. But meanwhile, what he's doing is he's ruining the relationship between the buyer and the seller. So these are the pitfalls that we're going to prepare you for in our next level boot camp.
Right. And it's not just what they are, but how to create the expectation for your client and how to overcome those pitfalls when they do come. Because it's not like they never happen. We want to tell you everything that'll happen, how to handle it. Because like Joe's saying, inspection issue, we can overcome it. It doesn't appraise. We'll get through it. There's multiple offers. Well, like that's, again, building that expectation in the beginning. You sit down with the buyer and say, look, this is a seller's market. We may write 10, 15 offers before we get one accepted. Now you've created the expectation. The client's not upset when they don't get that first, second, third, fourth, fifth offer because you told them about it. That's a potential pitfall that you wouldn't know about until you're in the business. And that's why we're going to help guide you through every single part of the process.
You know, my specialty is first-time buyers. And I love when first-time buyers come to me because it's almost like we're molding them into, and we're giving them that education, that much needed guidance, like JMan just said, and holding their hand through the transaction. And we have to make sure, just as we're preparing them to buy their first house, we must prepare an agent to know how to guide first-time buyers, step up. I call them step-up customers, repeat customers, investors, commercial buyers, any type of that kind of level. An agent must know how to handle that and then understand that not everything in real estate is perfect all the time. And nothing's going to be an easy breezy transaction. I love that, easy breezy. I'm going to use that. So, we got to prepare you. And that's what this course is doing. It's preparing the agent for every step of the way. And it's called a boot camp for a reason. It's to make sure that you take notes and it comes with homework. It comes with quizzes. It comes with a lot of preparation. But in the end, it's going to make you a better agent. It's going to make you much more professional. It's going to bring value to your business. It's professional development. And I can't overstress that.
That brings us to our final countdown. Right. Unit 8, sales skills and negotiation. And you might as well call this the lost art of sales skills and negotiation, because I feel like hot markets always produce this, but I call them order takers. People who, sure, in a hot market, anybody can go, the buyer goes, I want to buy that house. You go, okay. Now you're just filling out the paperwork. That's called an order taker. And then throughout the process, you have no clue how to negotiate or help people get to the closing or help them make a decision, because a sale is nothing more than a transfer of enthusiasm, right? And so Joe and I, again, we talk a lot, obviously, but we talk about this all the time about, sales skills, because we've been in the business long enough that we grew up with a lot of the really great sales gurus, the Brian Tracy's, the Tom Hopkins, the Zig Ziglar, the
Floyd Wickman, right? That's like a classic one for real estate. Tell us a little bit about your Sweat Hogs? Sweat Hogs, right.
Yeah.
Original Sweat Hog, Floyd Wickman.
So not to say that it's going to be like that, but it's going to be a little bit like that, where this is hands-on. This is a boot camp. Like, if you don't do the homework, like, why even bother coming? It's going to be my opinion about this stuff. Like, if you're looking for a class or a session to just go and sit there for a couple of days and try to absorb a couple things, this isn't for you. Right. I'll say that right now. Right, Joe? I mean, right. We want people who are engaged and interested and want to be successful.
And you know those seminars, and I don't knock any seminar, but I've been to maybe 100 seminars where I get a shot in the arm and it lasts for 3 days, and I'm rah rah rah, and I'm ready to do it. And I get to my desk and I go, oh well, wait a minute, before I implement that thing that I learned at the seminar, let me take care of this deal and that deal. And before you know it, my rah 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 is worn off. I don't want to do it until the next rah rah rah. A seminar, and I'll just keep going and spending countless dollars of money on things that I'm not going to implement. Here, this 2-day boot camp will give you the tools that you need to implement it, and it's a lifer. And guess what? It comes with coaching as well. You want to talk about the coaching?
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay. I'm just dying to do this.
Well, sales skills, and then, being able to ask closing questions and actually close somebody on making a decision, because sometimes they do need our help to get to that. They're just like they don't really know what they want. And for us, it's about, we're matchmakers sometimes, but it's helping them make the decision, but then also asking for referrals. That's part of the sales process. The best way to get a referral, Joe, is to ask. Right? It's amazing if people go, I'm not getting any referrals. Well, how many do you ask for?
How many agents actually carry business cards and they give one to the client that they're engaging with, and then give another one in there and say, and this is for someone who you think might be able to utilize my services? How many of us give 2 business cards away rather than 1 business card? And it's like that proverbial date, call me, and then nobody calls you because you didn't do the step that was necessary to get to the next level.
Next level boot camp.
There you go.
Well, that's another good, especially anywhere on the planet, let's say, people know more than one real estate agent, right? I mean, let's face it. So a big part of the sales process is being able to sell yourself. And we're going to help each and every one of the participants in this. Every one of you does something different. You have to be able, in 30 seconds or less, be able to answer when somebody asks you, well, what makes you different? Why should I hire you? Boom. You should be able to have a 60-second, they call it an elevator speech, because it basically says, if you hop in the elevator with this real estate tycoon in your area, and you have 60 seconds to sell him on why he should list with you or use you to buy a property, what are you going to say? And if it's just, I have my license, that's not going to work.
No. The time, the time for making it until you make it is over, guys. This is not about, just dabbling in real estate. I hate that when somebody says to me, I just dabble in real estate. I work the business part-time because I thought it was just something good to do. It's good if you work part-time or full-time, but as long as you understand and digest that this is a business, this is your business, this is your name and the word realty at the end, as if you were open for business and your sign says, come on in, I'm always open. There are no set hours in real estate. You are going to learn the sales skills and negotiation in this chapter. Not only that, but you're going to know and understand how to list property and be entrusted with someone's home. And you have to know that it's not just a skill, it's more of an art that you take on to ensure the seller that you're going to take reasonable care of them. And you're going to take reasonable care of the client, your buyer or your seller. You're going to use those methods of old car. Remember old car? For those of you who don't know, well, one of those skills is reasonable care and proper accounting and confidentiality and disclosure and obedience and loyalty. But here is a combined package of a 2-day next level boot camp for you. This is strictly designed for a new agent, someone who's been in the business, someone who has been in the business a long time, and reconnecting, redefining, re-energizing themselves to the business. And who better to teach them but two of us here who are energetic, who want to be there, who will learn with you and teach you how to master the industry.
Woo! I am so excited. This next level boot camp, baby. I mean, seriously, rah-rah, this boom ba. We need 30 people to get on this program. We're going to talk about dates. It's probably be in January, February. I don't know. There it is.
This is it, baby. We have launched the program that we want to teach to each and every one of you, but we are not, and I mean not, going to have 100 people in the class, are we? Are we going to have 50 people in the class? Are we going to have 200 people in the class? This is a limited offering.
What's our magic number? Hold on, I'm going to write this. This is old school negotiation. Here's our magic number right here, folks.
Keep going.
Whoop, I can't get it the right way.
30 students. We want 30 interested, motivated, energetic. We want to have fun with this class. This is not about a teacher and a student. It's about all of us together. I promise you that at the end of this class, we're all going to be in a circle singing Kumbaya together. No.
No, I don't know about that. We're
going to be in a circle, and we're going to be out there, and we're going to be the best real estate agents and out there that nobody has ever seen before. And this is a great way to affirm, to confirm, to make an affirmation for yourself that 2018 is the year that I take control of my business.
All right, listen, everybody. So if you want to get involved, obviously we're pretty excited about the opportunity here to take everybody to the next level, because it's what we love to do. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to post a link in the comments of this broadcast, in which you can click the link. You can sign up if you're interested. We will send you information. There's no cost for you to sign up and get information. It'll go over what the actual investment is for the program, where it's going to be held, the time, dates, and the commitment on your end. Okay, and then keep in mind, we don't want everybody. We just want the right people. You know, if you're ready to take your business to the next level, join us. If you want to sit there and be average, don't bother coming. Okay, because we're here to help you take you to the next level. So thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Bring your best. Bring your best. Right, Jack? Bring your best.
Bring your best. Don't be good, be great.
That's right.
Have a good night.
Good night.